Man, thou art a wonderful animal, and thy ways past finding out. Thou canst do strange things, but thou turnest them to little account. To conceive of this effort of extraordinary dexterity distracts the imagination and makes admiration breathless. To catch these balls in succession in less than a second of time and deliver them back so as to return with seeming consciousness to the hand again. To make them revolve around him at certain intervals like the planets in their spheres. To do what appears an impossibility, and to do it with all the ease, the grace, the carelessness imaginable, to laugh at, to play with the glittering mockeries. It is skill surmounting difficulty, and beauty triumphing over skill. It makes me ashamed of myself. I ask, what is there that I can do as well as this? Nothing. The utmost I can pretend to is to write a description of what this fellow can do. I have always had this feeling of the inefficacy and slow progress of intellectual compared to mechanical excellence, and it has always made me somewhat dissatisfied. In mechanical efforts you improve by perpetual practice, and you do so infallibly. There is then, in this sort of dexterity, first a gradual aptitude acquired to a given exertion of muscular power from the constant repetition, and in the next place an exact knowledge how much is still wanting and necessary to be supplied. Certain movements and impressions of the hand and eye, having been repeated together an infinite number of times, are unconsciously but unavoidably cemented into closer and closer union. The limbs require little more than to be put in motion for them to follow a regular track with ease and certainty, so that the mere intention of the will acts mathematically, like touching the spring of a machine.
Whenever I think about cricket or about literature or even about history, there's one man who comes to my mind always. That's William Hazlitt. I believe, and I'm glad to notice some other people think so too, that he was the greatest prose writer of his time and one of the great prose writers in English literature. That was for two reasons. He was, first of all, he lived in an age when the sharpness of class conflict, which was introduced by the Industrial Revolution, had not yet overtaken England. And number two, he could write about everything. And he wrote about learning, about history, about painting. He spent many years in Paris trying to be a painter. And he wrote about sports, although he didn't write on cricket, which is a bit surprising because between the day when he was born, 1778, and when he died about 1830, that was the time when the game of cricket as we know it today was formed in all its essentials. But what makes Hazlitt particularly interesting to me is that when I was a boy in the Caribbean, the structure of our society was somewhat similar to the structure of the society in which Hazlitt lived. And I think that on the whole, growing up that way has been of great benefit to me, has enabled me to see the modern world and cricket and a lot of other things in a sort of comprehensive way, which was natural to Hazlitt and in a way was natural to me owing to the kind of life we lived in the Caribbean at the time.